Hello everyone, welcome to my presentation. I am Bridge. Currently, I am a PhD student at Institute of Geophysics, Polish Academy of Sciences in Warsaw. The topic of my presentation is 3D velocity model building using full waveform inversion in hard rock setting. The case study is from Blotberget mine in central Sweden. Before starting the presentation, I would like to acknowledge that the presented work has been carried out under the European Union Horizon 2020 Smart Exploration Project and the associated co-authors who are part of this project. The content of the presentation are as follows. First, I will introduce you to the mine area and how acquisition was done. Second will be the data pre-processing. Then it will be followed by the challenges we face while applying FWI in hard rock environment and how we tackle those issues. Then I will discuss about the inversion strategy we developed. It will be followed by results, and finally I will conclude this presentation. The Blotberget iron oxide mine is situated in the central Sweden, which is marked by the black star on the figure. The aim of the 3D survey was to better understand the mineralization, both in lateral extent as well as in depth. The survey was designed with fixed 3D geometry. We used a mix of both wireless and cable receivers. In total, 1266 receivers with natural frequency 10 Hz was used. Vibro was used as the source, which resulted in more than 1000 shot points throughout the survey area. A constant spacing of 10 meters is used for both shots and receivers, except at some places for receivers where it was increased to 20 meters in order to cover larger area. Here, you can see the survey geometry overlaid on the regional geology of the area. All the receivers are marked by green dots, while the shots are marked by blue dots. We can see that we have shot points at each receiver position. As I mentioned, the survey resulted in more than 1000 shot points, but as FWI is very computational intensive, we were not able to use all the shots simultaneously. Therefore, we QC'd approx 200 best shots for FWI while keeping the source distribution uniform as much as possible. Shot points used for FWI are marked by black dots. In this slide, we can see the known mineralization by blue and red surfaces with previously acquired 2D seismic line in the area. We can clearly see a down-dipping reflective package coinciding well with the known mineralization. The 3D survey was done to better understand the extension of the mineralization in depth as well as the 3D nature of the mineralized body. Let me start by showing the quality of the acquired data. Here we can see that the acquired data is of good quality. We can clearly see the first arrival for the full offset range and also reflection from the mineralization marked by yellow arrows. The location of the shot is shown by black star in the top left figure. Here is another example for a shot point at a different location. We can clearly see the first arrivals and reflection from mineralization for this shot as well. For the current study, we used acoustic FWI for velocity model building. As we all know that the Earth is not acoustic but elastic. Therefore, we need to mimic the data in a way how it could have been recorded in an acoustic Earth. Along with this, the pre-processing was mainly focused on enhancing the first arrivals, increasing the local coherency and signal-to-noise ratio. Here, we compare the raw data and data after the pre-processing. If we concentrate on the reflections marked by yellow arrow and the traces encircled by red circle, we can see that the first arrivals are very well enhanced along with increased coherency after the pre-processing. A similar trend can also be seen for another shot that the first arrivals are very well enhanced along with an increased coherency. Before proceeding to the results, we need to be aware of few of the challenges associated with applying FWI in hard rock environment. First, due to several environmental restrictions, often a crooked 2D line prevents us using a 2D case. For 3D case, non-standard 3D data acquired in hard rock environment exhibits improper illumination of the subsurface. A mix of sources such as dynamite and vibro size, low signal to noise ratio, shorter offsets, and difficulties in preserving low frequencies, which are typical for hard rock environment, are other issues. Also, as we are using acoustic FWI here, therefore we need to tackle the elastic effects as well. Lastly, as the hard rock environment is a low gradient medium, so it prohibits the energy to travel through the deeper part of the subsurface. FWI, in its original form, promised to start the inversion directly from the raw data. Unfortunately, in its current form, FWI can only be attacked locally. Therefore, we need a starting velocity model to start with. First arrival travel time tomography, in short FAT, was successful in the past for building velocity model in hard rock environment. So we decided to use it. First arrivals were picked at Technical University of Freiburg and were manually QC'd at IG Pass. The final velocity model resulted from FAT has a root mean square residual in the range of 5 milliseconds. Please remember the acronym FAT, which I will be using throughout the presentation. Here, I am showing a horizontal view of the FAT model. We can observe that the obtained model contains high velocities near to the surface, with velocity information restricted to few hundred meters from the surface. Now I am showing a vertical section cross-cutting the central part of the survey area. We can see that in depth, the velocity detail is restricted to first few hundred meters from the surface, and after that, the velocity model is almost 1D. The last crucial part to start the inversion is to obtain a source wavelet. Here we can see the source signature obtained using the FAT model for different parts of the survey area, shown by colored diamonds on the left figure. The difference in the source signature and amplitude response, shown in the central figure, represents the local variability of the near surface. Finally, we use the average source signature for all the inversions, which is shown on the right. Now, with the preprocessed data and starting velocity model in hand, we need an inversion strategy to proceed with, so that we can obtain a meaningful velocity model. Regarding the inversion parameters, we inverted for P wave only while keeping the density constant. We used acoustic FWI with average source wavelet and steepest descent as our optimization algorithm. Out of more than 1000 shots, only approximately 200 shots were used due to computational limitation. We used only the vertical component of the data and a constant grid spacing of 10 meters in each direction. We used toy XDX time code as courtesy of SciScope Consortium. In our strategy for inversion, each run consisted of 10 iterations. A velocity model is obtained and explicitly smoothed in order to mitigate the cycle skipping issue in the next run. An average source wavelet is estimated from the smooth velocity model. Now this source wavelet is bandpassed and scaled to match the raw data. Both the source wavelet and smooth velocity model is used as input for next run. The cycle continues until a saturation in cost function is obtained. Now, I will showcase a comparison between the FAT and FWI derived velocity model for the inline position marked by black line on the map at the top left. Here, we can see that for the FAT model, the velocity details are present for only first few meters. On comparison with FAT, we can clearly see that FWI is bringing greater details in depth. We can also deduce several other features marked by yellow arrow. If we overlay the known mineralization, we can see that it fits very well with FWI derived velocity model. Here, we are again comparing the FAT and FWI velocity model for a different inline location. Here as well, we can see that FWI derived velocity model shows greater details along with some structural features marked by the yellow arrow. Comparing the FWI model from inline to inline, we can observe that it consists of a high velocity zone in the upper part, along with a down-dipping altered band of high and low velocities dipping in southeast direction. Now, if we project the known mineralization, we can again see it fits very well with the velocity model. Again, the same can be observed for another inline. Now, in order to know the 3D nature of the known mineralization, I am showing some of the cross-line views. Here is the fat-derived velocity model compared to FWI velocity model. Here we can see that the known mineralization is curved. Now if we project the known mineralization, it fits quite well, which further explains the correctness of the velocity model. Some more cross-line views showcasing several features marked by yellow arrow, which can further be investigated independently or with other information available in the area. Now, at the end, we can see the whole nature of the velocity model. It confirms that the mineralization is curved in the cross-line direction and further extends down deep in the southeast direction. Now, another important part is to check how accurate or correct our velocity model is. One way to do is to compare the source signature at different positions. In principle, with a more detailed velocity model, it should improve. Here, I am showing the source signature for each shot point obtained from FAT model and FWI model. We can clearly see that the source signature with FWI model is more coherent and with better amplitude response. Second method of QCing the velocity model is to compare the raw data with synthetic data produced from the velocity model. Here in the black and white, we can see the raw data. The blue and red is the synthetic data produced with FAT model. If we follow the marked yellow arrow, we can easily observe that the obtained synthetic data has a phase mismatch at several positions. But FWI model is very well matching the phases, which confirms that the obtained model is correct. Now, another example for a shot at different location. We can see the same phenomena here as well easily if we follow again the yellow arrows, which again indicates the correctness of the FWI model. With this, I will conclude the presentation by saying that acoustic FWI can be successfully used to build high-resolution velocity model using 3D seismic data in hard rock environment. Definitely, the FWI derived velocity model offers greater details in depth when compared to FAT model. Another important feature highlighted during the presentation is that the FWI derived velocity model can be used independently for interpretation. In future, we would like to utilize all the shots for velocity model building and will try to move from the current early phase inversion to reflection based and ultimately to elastic FWI. Finally, I would like to thank Dr. Romain Brozier from University of Grenoble for sharing the 3D FWI code with us. I thank European Commission for funding the Smart Exploration project and Polish National High Performance Computing Infrastructure for supporting the research work. I would also like to thank everyone who participated in the fieldwork. At the end, I would like to thank all the other sources involved within the work. With this, I end the presentation. Thank you for your attention.